The backlash against Sweet Baby Inc. continues after one of their employees, Chris Kindred, tried to target a Steam Curator list, get it banned, as well as ban the creator, Kabrutus. Multiple people have dug into the company's past and history now and have exposed their evil agenda. Before we get into this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. Wrote this up over at That Park Place this morning. I do want to shout out Mangalawyer here over on X for putting me on this path. He is one of the main people that was digging into some of these Sweet Baby Inc. Employees' comments, as well as comments made by the Sweet Baby CEO. Specifically, we're going to get into what Sweet Baby CEO Kim Belair had to say back in 2020, specifically that she wanted to erase white male lead characters. And then we're also going to talk about the company's employee, or at least consultant, Maya Kramer, expressing her disdain for white people over the past decade. But first, let's get into what Belair had to say in an interview with Complications Ensue, where she was asked to explain the importance of what she's trying to do with Sweet Baby Inc. This is what she said. We're hitting, 40 years of video games, and I think people are starting to ask, why are we making very similar products? Why are a lot of our stories not resonating with younger audiences? Why is our audience not growing? I like to say that representation is innovation. I think when people are asking for diverse stories, we're not asking for the same story with, diverse characters. We have to look at story and narrative as one of the things that we can innovate on. Like when you bring someone in from a different culture, from a different background, from a different gender, they're going to create something that we haven't seen before. She then said this: the way we look at demographics is that we go, okay, the majority of our player base is, let's say, a white male. So we're going to make stuff for white males. But if you make something from the perspective of an Asian trans woman and it's really strong, then it will work for people. So this is back in 2020. These people are trying to push this evil transgender ideology, and they're clearly saying they want to remove white males. And she makes it very explicit here. She goes on and says, people crave new stories. If you want to innovate, even to stay current, it's not about graphics. It's not about hardware. It's about opening up new perspectives for people. So I explain it as it's important to game development to diversify. It's not just part of advocacy or activism. It's going to make your games better. So she's literally admitting that everything she's doing here is advocacy. It is activism. And she wants to indoctrinate people into quote unquote new perspectives. And we know what one of those new perspectives is. It is transgender ideology. She made that abundantly clear there by talking about the quote unquote Asian trans woman and wants people to be exposed to that. So clearly evil stuff happening here at this company. She would go on to state this: the market has always been frustrating to me because we make assumptions based on what we already have instead of what we could have. A couple of months ago, we were talking a lot about player choice in Assassin's Creed. People were saying, well, no matter how good this female character is, a majority of players played as a male character, so therefore people prefer male characters. And what I had to explain was, no, actually, from a marketing and a psychology perspective, most people are going to choose the gender that they most align with. It doesn't mean that's what they want. If you are male identified, it's not that you don't want to play as a woman. You're just going, oh, that one's for me. I'm a guy. I don't go to the ladies' room. She then pointed to Horizon Zero Dawn as an example. We look at the success of something like Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a game led by a female character. If they had made it a choice, most players would have played as a male, but they didn't, and it was a huge success. And so I think this was the most interesting part of this conversation that she had with what Complications Ensue, where she admitted that she believes gamers are a captured audience and will accept the brands no matter what kind of changes are made to them, clearly implying that they want to get into these companies and then push their message through the companies because that have already built successful products like Assassin's Creed, God of War, etc. Right? And so she says, I think that the majority of men, if you had Assassin's Creed starring a woman, they would play it anyways. Aside from a couple of trolls on Twitter, the odds are they're going to go, oh, this is the brand that I like. I'm going to just play. So clearly wanting to get their claws into these bigger IPs that already made successful games, already brought in a great audience, have a big gamer base already. And that's how they want to indoctrinate people, admitting it right here to Complications Ensue 4 years ago in 2020. These people were very open about what they were doing, and that interview is still up. You can still go and see it. So aside from Belair's comments, which I think make it very clear that they want to remove white male characters as leads and as characters in general in video games, we have Maya Kramer, who is a Zoe Quinn ally, basically expressing her disdain for white male characters and then in video games as well as just like white people in general. She wrote this in 2016. I'm a sucker for warrior wear, so I bought Peter Panic. Also, I don't know why games featuring human characters are still so white and male. So clearly taking an issue with white male characters right there. And then in 2014, she wrote this: pay me to shoot down your white male lead game ideas. Obviously not liking, just wanting to scrap games that feature white male leads. And clearly, I think the person being employed at Sweet Baby Inc. that's exactly what they're doing now. I know this is a decade old, but we'll get to this because this person is still expressing this evil, sick stuff right here. She also wrote basically a couple months earlier in January 2014, looking around the mixer last night, put into perspective just how white and male our dev scene really is. It's really white and male. Obviously, trying to talk about that with a negative connotation there. Just disgusting. Like, who posts stuff like that? Just someone who has a blackened heart. And then also on that same day in January, Kramer wrote, had a nightmare that I was a white male gamer. So obviously saying that being a white male gamer is a negative right there. Again, who writes that kind of stuff? Only someone who has a poisoned mind and a darkened heart. And then this is just last month, February 11th, 2024. Kramer wrote this: I usually get grossed out when straight white rich people kiss, but even I think those two are pretty cute. Not sure exactly what she's referring to there, but obviously expressing her disdain for white people, or I guess white rich people kissing. Again, showing disdain for white people there. So, sick stuff from these people that work at Sweet Baby Inc. Obviously, they have an agenda. Obviously, they hate white people, and they are doing their best to try and remove them from the video game space. And so, just to kind of give you a brief overview as to why all of this stuff is happening, Chris Kindred, one of the company's employees, decided to go after this gamer Kabrutus and try and get him banned and get his Steam Curator list banned for highlighting games that Sweet Baby Inc. has worked on. He's basically creating a boycott list without calling it a boycott list. If you go to the Steam Curator page, it literally says, "No, don't recommend, don't recommend, don't recommend, don't recommend." And there's about 15 of these games. And Kindred made it very clear she was trying to get him banned. This is what she first wrote: the Steam Curator harassment group Sweet Baby Inc. Detected is led by this person, Kabrutus Rambo. Here's them trying to be slick so they don't get reported. Even with the discriminatory language filed off, the group itself still fails the code of conduct. She then stated, anyway, report the F out of this group. She then added, and report the creator since he loves his account so much. Clearly trying to get him banned and have his entire game catalog removed so he's not able to play it. So at the time Kindred made this call, strikes in full effect here. At the time Kindred made the call to ban Kabrutus and targeted the Steam Curator list, the list only had around 20,000 followers. At the time of writing, the list now has over 121,000 followers and is growing by the hour, by the minute, by the second. The list currently includes 15 games: NeoCab, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, After Love EP, Gotham Knights, South of Midnight, Kingdom 80s, Shadow Gambit, The Cursed Crew, Dungeons & Dragons, Dark Alliance, Hyper Limit Breaker, Breeze in the Clouds, Goodbye, Volcano High, Usual June, Battle Shapers, Sable, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. The list originally included 18 games and had Saints Row: Forspoken, Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Mortal Kombat 1 on it. Kabrutus actually explained in the curator list's kind of like discussion page why some of the games were removed. He says, a lot of people have been asking why I deleted some reviews related to games that were listed on this IMDb website that he used as reference. And he says that list proved to be a not reliable source since anyone can edit it at any time by adding any game whenever they want. So that's why I don't consider IMDb website a valid source anymore. And he said, I want to maintain our credibility. People are watching us and paying attention to the curator. So I need to be extra careful on what games I review because I don't want to be unfair with anyone. And then if you go to Sweet Baby Inc.'s website, they do have at least 12 games listed on their site that they've worked on. It includes Alan Wake 2, God of War Ragnarok, The Crew Motorfest, and Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, and Lost Your Marbles, alongside games featured on the list, including Battle Shapers, Breeze in the Clouds, Goodbye Volcano, High, Usual June, Sable, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and South of Midnight. Games like Alan Wake 2 and God of War Ragnarok are not currently listed on the Steam Curator list because they're not available on Steam. And Kabrutus explained this. He says, I'm aware of those games, but since they haven't been added to the Steam store yet, I can't add them to the Curator right now. We also have a list of the various studios that Sweet Baby Inc. has worked with. That's listed on their site as well. This is a screenshot from their website. Here's their client list. It includes Xbox Game Studios, Electronic Arts, Valve, True Love, Santa Monica Studios, 2K, Ubisoft, Square Enix, Warner Brothers Studios, Finji, Polytron, Rocksteady, Co-op, Shedworks, Compulsion Games. They were the ones, Compulsion Games. They were making the statement about the new Lara Croft remaster and fully on board behind what Crystal Dynamics was saying about the trigger warning. Metric Empire, Chance Agency, Avalanche Studios Group, Deck 9, Brass Lion Entertainment, Wizards of the Coast, Nereal, People Can Fly, Echo Software, Juvie Productions, Glitch Games, Remedy, Panic, Raw Fury, and Fellow Traveler. So that is the latest on Sweet Baby Inc. Clearly, they are pushing an evil agenda. I am glad Kabrutus did this list, exposed them, and is now exposing them even further as people dig into how evil, what the evil agenda these people are indeed pushing, and how darkened and blackened their hearts truly are. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, but to always speak the truth.